Uh, yes, ma'am, I'm ready. Thank you. I'll try not to go over my time. So, Mr. Cordray, as of April 2020, nearly 1.3 million borrowers had their employment certified by the department and were on track to receive public service loan forgiveness. My Democrat colleagues would like to say that this program is a way to reward first responders and frontline workers for their dedication to public service. But according to FSA data, the average balance forgiven as of April 2020 was approximately $83,000. And let me say that I am a 24-year military veteran, so I have no issues and have used the GI Bill and have also instructed people about joining the military when they're in the healthcare fields, utilizing loan forgiveness. But these statistics suggest that graduate degree holders are the vast majority of beneficiaries under this program. Now, we certainly want American workers to be educated and to be competitive in the workforce. But this highlights a real concern where the statute is drafted so broadly that public service employees currently account for 25% of the US workforce. Do you have any indication as to what share of the Pslf population work in an authentic actual public service like teaching or being a first responder, or doctors at a tribal healthcare setting or a free medical clinic rather than their own clinic or a not-for-profit that still is highly successful?
Yeah, and if I may, let me say several things. First of all, I appreciate the point you made early on, which is, as you say, you made use of the GI Bill. You know the transformational effect that can have on your life, in your own life. And it's the same is true for many of your colleagues around the country. So we want to make sure that people who are entitled to public service loan forgiveness actually get that, and we follow through on that promise that was made to them in the law. At the same time, as you note, we don't want anybody to be taking advantage of that program who doesn't really deserve public service loan forgiveness. And so one of the things we do at FSA is we have to determine employer eligibility in any kind of doubtful close call, and we will make those calls. And we will make them, faithfully to the intent of the law. Anybody who's working for the government is entitled to public service loan relief. And as you said—
Okay, so sir, thank you for that. I had asked what share of the population. Let me go to my next question. Do you believe that a researcher at the Brookings Institution is doing public service?
It may depend on exactly what the nature of the job is. I would say generally, I would think no, but
what about a researcher? What about a researcher at the Heritage Foundation?
Again, generally, I would say no, but maybe they could make a particular case. I'd have to see the case to be persuaded by it. But in general—
do you believe that Turning Point USA, a 501c3, performs a public service?
Look, I'm not familiar with that organization, so I can't really speak.
What about Planned Parenthood? It's a 501c3. Do you believe that taxpayers should be shouldering the costs to forgive the loans of a Planned Parenthood employee?
Again, and as to all the groups you stated, not specifically to any one of them, there are certain jobs that, depending on what people actually do, it may be that the bulk of their time is devoted to actual public service. But if it's not, then they should not get the relief. And that's generally how we would approach these issues.
So having left home as 16 as the fourth of 8 children, I've served as a nurse and a physician in the United States Army, the former director of the Iowa Department of Public Health, a state senator, and now a U.S. Congresswoman. I am not against public service, obviously, and I am not against the Pslf, but I am concerned that the eligibility for the program is so vast and so broad that we are using a program intended to incentivize public service on industries and jobs that ultimately do not fit that definition. Can your office commit to providing this committee a breakdown of the Pslf borrowers by occupation and by undergraduate and graduate degree?
We'd be glad to, if you follow up with the specific data request, and I guess you just made one, and we'll try to take it down. But if you want to convey it in writing so we have the exact particulars, we'll make sure we get the answer right. We'll provide you with whatever information we have. And by the way, it's a fair point you raise. Public service loan forgiveness should go to people doing public service. It should not go to people pretending to do public service who are really doing something else. And we'll be glad to try to ferret out anybody who's trying to take advantage of the program. At the same time, these are very situational instances that we have to deal with case by case sometimes. Although, as I say, everything you described in your background every bit of that would qualify for public service loan forgiveness. And I hope that you fared reasonably well through the GI Bill and others because you deserve it.
Well, thank you for that. And I certainly have, as I said, made a request. I hope that you'll fulfill the request. And I hope that the information will get to us as soon as possible, hopefully no later than Thanksgiving. Thank you so much. I yield back my time, Madam Chair.